Hello everybody, how are we? Welcome back to another video. I'm very excited to be filming this one with you guys because I haven't had a sit down chat with you guys in a while, and I actually came back to this YouTube channel to do videos like this. I wanted it to be a little bit of a carry on from my podcast. Basically the aim was to do my podcast whilst actually filming myself so that I can post it to YouTube for the ones that prefer actually watching me talk. But I experimented in the whole of vlogging and I really enjoy that, so I will be doing more of that stuff, plus adding videos like this where I sit down and chat with you guys similar to my podcast. I'm really sorry about that noise, guys, which leads me on to saying, is he still going? Okay, he's not as close as he was before. It was really loud earlier. But yeah, that leads me on to saying I did have some great feedback, and it's actually something that I was very much aware of before as well, but I am gonna look into investing into like a little mic just to clip onto me so you guys can hear me better and it's more comfortable for you guys to watch. I seriously want to invest in better camera, you know, a mic, so that when you guys are watching you don't have to like keep adjusting the volume and stuff, because I'm very much aware that when I'm doing the vlogging and I'm out and about, I am aware that the sound is constantly, you know, changing, and when you're listening with headphones on, that's probably not ideal, especially when I do my walks and I'm out in the wind and it's very loud. So it's definitely something I promise I will eventually invest in, but honestly I'm just having fun with this right now and just seeing how it goes, and I don't really have the money for that right now. So as much as I would love to just go to the shop and purchase a new camera and mic, I just need to give it a little bit of time, but that's definitely something I'm looking into doing. Also, if you guys have any other feedback for me with the videos, please comment, because the feedback means a lot, and I see you guys watching but I don't always hear what you guys are thinking, of course. So yeah, definitely comment if you guys have feedback or you're enjoying them. It means a lot. Anyway, today's topic is going to be about basically over talking. And hear me out a little bit. So I want to be talking about the fact that I feel like a lot of us are simply oversharing at the moment, and we are over explaining ourselves a lot. Now, this is something I have literally noticed for years and years, but I'm seeming to like notice it a lot more recently. I think because, as I've said, I'm working in customer service and I don't want to have to keep bringing that up. But if you guys are watching this and you work in customer service yourself or like with people all the time, you know what I'm saying. You start to notice little habits that people do, like even more so than if you were just working from home, or just dealing with admin stuff. Honestly, when you're working with people constantly, you really do start to pick up on habits and things that people do, and the fact that we all really do overshare way too much, and we constantly are over explaining ourselves. So let's talk about it, guys. So throughout life we are going to come across people that think they can say what the hell they want about you, think that they can say whatever they want to your face, comment on your appearance, comment on your job, comment on the way you're choosing to live your life and what you're doing with it, comment on your relationships, type of person you are, comment on anything. Honestly, guys, I don't like to bring this up a lot, but working in customer service and with lots of people day in, day out, you start to notice this, and you start to notice how you could simply just be standing there doing your job and someone will just comment on your appearance or something that you've done or something you're not doing. And you know, it happens a lot when you're working amongst people, and you really start to notice that there are some people that just have something to say about everything and they do not care, saying it to your face or behind your back. So I want to talk about over explaining ourselves and when we feel like we have to defend ourselves. And a lot of this is easier said than done, and I do think it's something some people are naturally very good at this, of like just shutting out, like, you know, things they hear said about you, or you know, things people are saying to your face that aren't very nice. Some people are very good at just shutting that out, but I think as a whole, some of us can be very sensitive, and it's definitely something you kind of learn to do over time, which would be me. I would definitely fall into that I probably used to be very sensitive, and when people would say negative things to me, or I'd hear something said about me, I would, you know, I would jump straight to being a victim, and you know, think, oh, it's something I've done, like I need to change this and that or whatever. And over time I've really learned to shut that out, and if I do fall into that mindset, how to kind of turn that around and again just shut it out. So if we go back in time, when I first started personal training, I talk about this time of my life a lot in my videos, but it's because it really is a time in my life where a lot happened all of a sudden, and a lot in like such a small space of time. My life changed like dramatically, and like my way of thinking changed dramatically because of that. And I feel like if we all think about it, I think most of us have a time in our life where we think back to a lot because something big happened, which caused, you know, a big shift in our life. So that is why I talk about this time of my life a lot. But there's definitely other times I can, you know, think about in school where this has happened. But when I started personal training, I went straight into working into a really big gym in my area that I was living. I'd kind of gone from being kind of, I don't know, just like a normal person, which obviously I still was, but kind of just that someone like that people didn't really have much interest like following my life, to suddenly this person where people started to build an interest in following my life and kind of how I do things, because I was the only female trainer at the time, one of the only female trainers. We did have another one, but then she shortly left after me starting. But I was one of the only female trainers in that gym at the time. So suddenly, you know, you're in this gym where it's mainly guys working, and then suddenly a gal appears and she's now a trainer working amongst all the guys. So people were kind of interested in me. And I was training very hard and focusing very much on my body and my appearance because I was only young. I went straight into an apprenticeship learning to be a personal trainer. So a lot of what I thought things were about was my appearance at the time, and training to kind of look good and get stronger. And people began to build an interest in that. And I had a lot of great comments thrown at me when I was doing this, and compliments. But also with what came with that were hearing people talking about me, saying things that weren't true, maybe even acting very standoffish to my face, even though it was someone I'd never really spoken to before and I didn't really know. And I remember like there would be comments, like I remember once I was in the car with my friend and she rung up one of her guy mates, and he didn't realize that this phone call was on speakerphone and I was in the car as well, and I didn't know this guy. I really hadn't ever met him before. And then she was like, my friend said to him something like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be with Georgia if you wanna come, or just something like that. And then he was like, oh, the one that photoshops her photos. And just like little comments like that constantly. And I remember feeling really, really annoyed when he said that, because I just thought in my head, one, I do not know this person. Why is he acting like he knows who I am? And two, why is he saying I photoshopped my photos as if he's so sure about this, even though he can't be sure because it was never true. I never ever have used Photoshop in my life. And if you know me, you know that I am so into the simple things in life and the natural things that I would never Photoshop my photos. You know, I'm not saying anything about people that do Photoshop their photos, but I personally wouldn't do it, and I have never done it, and I don't do it. So I just remember being so angry about this comment. This is just one that sticks in my head. There were a few. And I remember I would then just jump straight to my social media page and I would put up like a post or story, kind of trying to like defend myself. I would never use names or anything like that or talk about a specific situation, but I would like reshare like a quote or something. Or put up a picture and I would caption it something to do with the fact that I never Photoshop my photos, everything you see is natural, blah, blah, blah. And I would just always kind of feel like I had to defend myself. I constantly felt like at that time in my life, I had to constantly defend myself, constantly justify something I was doing and why. And I was just always over explaining myself and everything that I was doing. Like, there was another example of when, towards the end of living at home before I moved to Australia, I was working across 2 gyms, and I managed to get the job in the second gym. It was like a new gym opening, so I was actually really lucky that I managed to get that job, because a lot of people wanted to work there at the time, and I managed to get the job, and blah blah blah. And anyway, there was another girl that I don't even know the full story, because I never knew her. I'd never spoken to her directly. This was just through things I had heard. But I had heard that she wanted the job or something, didn't get it. I don't know. I genuinely never knew her. And then I started kind of realizing she had put up like a post about me and basically slagging the way I train and the way I train people. And she didn't use my word directly, but I knew it was about me because somebody sent it to me. It was about me. And I remember training in the gym when she was in there one time, and I turned around. I remember I was doing lunges, and I turned around, and she was mocking me doing the lunges to her friend. And I remember I just was like, I've had enough of this. I remember just going up to the staff room and just like sitting there for a while. And then I remember, again, I went to social media and I put up like this quote thing about how like girls say they're helping people, but then they go and like mock other girls, you know, contradicting themselves, like saying how you need to help girls and lift them up, but then at the same time they're knocking other girls down. I put up some quote about that or something, and I remember actually like telling my manager of that gym, and I think he kind of just didn't really want anything to do with it. But that would just happen a lot. Like, I'd feel like, you know, I was constantly over explaining myself, justifying things I was doing, having to defend myself, and then I would go to someone about it, and it's like they just didn't really want to know anyway and never really took my word for it. And yeah, I kind of noticed this pattern over time, that the more you defend yourself and the more you try and explain yourself and talk about it to people, the less they take you seriously. Like, the more you talk about something, the more that's kind of like what you become, if you get me. So the more I was, you know, talking to people like, oh, this person thinks I Photoshop my photos, or this person thinks that I just don't train well, I don't know enough knowledge to train other people, etc., etc. The more that kind of gets in people's head, and it makes them kind of question, well, do you Photoshop your photos? Like, you're talking about it a lot, so maybe like, you know, you are in denial about something. So you just get sick and tired of over-explaining yourself, justifying everything, defending yourself all the time. So what happens? You begin to dim your light. And therefore, you begin to forget about that goal, that dream you really want, and you stop because you're angry at yourself. You turned into the victim now. You think you are the victim because of the result of hearing things that have been said about you, or things that have been said to your face, and then feeling like you have to defend yourself. You get sick and tired of it, and you dim your light, and you stop doing the thing that you were firstly so excited about doing and trying to achieve, and so excited to be on that journey towards that goal. You lose that passion and that excitement for it because of the people around you clouding that vision and making you feel so mad that you actually had to defend something you never should have had to defend in the first place, because a lot of it was all lies. And I'm here to tell you guys that what if you don't have to defend yourself? What if you just switch off all of that noise and bloody ignore it, and stop defending yourself, stop over explaining everything you do, and just live your life how you want to live it, okay? And over years of constantly hearing things said about me back at home, like I said, in that period of when I started working in the gym. And again, I just feel like it was a time where fitness was getting super big again and a lot of girls were entering the space. I kind of started just before that period, so it was all kind of brand new in the gym I was working in for a female to kind of take over and teach classes and stuff, like I was, and people were curious. I made the decision to just stop. Just stop. If I was hearing things about me, whatever. Do not care anymore. I'm still going to carry on doing what I'm doing. I am not putting my life on hold, and I am not going to justify and explain myself to people that, frankly, I don't even know. And are just out to sabotage you. Okay, and I know we all must have experienced this at some stage. Okay, so I'm just being honest, and I'm just speaking out because I hope this can help people that have felt the same way. But over years of constantly putting things on hold because I guess was playing into that victim card, just overthinking what people were saying to me, and then just feeling like I constantly had to explain my life and my decisions to everyone, I just stopped. And I think one of the times that sticks out to me was when I made the decision to move to Australia, because I think I had just quite frankly had enough of everything back at home. As much as I loved my life, I loved my friends, I loved my job, there were a lot of things that I had had enough of and was just getting me down. And so when I made the decision to move to Australia, I just did not care anymore. People had things to say about it and I didn't care, because I was like, I'm not putting anything else on hold anymore, and I am living my life how I'd like to live it, obviously within reason, because do not turn into a selfish prick that doesn't take, you know, people you care about's emotions into consideration. So obviously there's that, but people that I just don't know anymore can say what they want. And that was it. I was like, no, I don't care what anyone has to say about it. I am moving to Australia, and I am going to begin to just live my life how I want, and just shut out any other, you know, things people have to say about what I choose to do with my life. And I think when you start living like that, in fact, I know that when you start living your life like that, guys, you become so much happier. You feel so much more free. When you don't have an answer back to everything, and you don't feel like you need to have the same conversation with someone 10,000 times just to try and resolve something, even though nothing is changing. When you feel like you don't have to have that conversation anymore, and you just let things be, and you accept how it is, you feel so much better within yourself. I am telling you guys, please stop feeling like you constantly have to over explain yourself, because it's only going to make you feel miserable in the long run. And yeah, I just feel so much better for that now. Obviously, sometimes I catch myself feeling like I need to respond or give an answer to something, and I get a bit defensive. But as a whole, people will say, why are you not defending yourself? Why are you not sticking up for yourself? Why are you not saying something? And in my mind, if I've had a conversation with somebody already numerous times about something I think could change, and it doesn't, and I don't see them making any effort towards making something change for the better, then that is it. I'm, you know, life is short, and I think communicating is great and it's key, but that doesn't always have to mean talking about something round and round. That can just be in making action to make things change, not talking round and round and thinking something's changed for it to just remain the same. Okay, it's about taking action and actually making something happen. Another funny one is where I'm from in the UK, everyone speaks like I speak, pretty much. And we're just very well spoken in the area I'm brought up in. But I wouldn't call myself posh. But out here, coming across people that were brought up in different places, different countries even, I'm constantly called posh. And I have this thing where with my hand, my pinky is constantly like out like that, and I have joint problems, so I don't know whether that's related because I get really sore. My hands get really sore in my joints and everything. So when I'm holding something, it actually happened once when I was out. I was holding a glass and it literally, I just lost grip completely and the glass fell and smashed on the floor. And no, it wasn't completely smashed. I literally just completely lost all grip in my hands. So when I'm holding stuff, quite often my pinky will stick out, and it's not to do with a thing with me being really posh, but I hear people say, oh, look at her pinky, she's got her pinky out. Like when I've literally heard people say that when I'm like drinking a drink and it's like that. And before, back at home, I would have felt like I had to say, sorry, what did you just say? And like I'd feel like I had to confront it and explain myself. And now I'm just like, I don't care. Like, people are always gonna have something to say. And I think if you spend your whole life just feeling like you have to explain yourself and go out of your way to find out what someone just said so that you can confront them, you're never going to be happy. At the end of the day, you're only really hurting yourself. So what I always say is bloody let them say what they want, let it be, and just do you and live your life. Else, yeah, you're just going to stay miserable forever. And yeah, anyway, guys, I feel like I could go into this much more and bring up other examples and, you know, prove my point more, but I'm gonna keep this video short and leave it here. But honestly, these videos really are just to help you. And if you're feeling a bit shitty right now and you kind of feel like you're getting sick of maybe comments people are making about you that aren't true and stuff, I just hope you know that it happens to all of us, most of us anyway. And yeah, please don't feel like you have to constantly defend yourself, because it's not going to help you in the long run. You're going to feel more miserable, you're going to spiral even more. The more you talk about something, sometimes the less it helps, and the more then it sticks in your head and you can't escape that kind of horrible mindset you're in. Sometimes actually talking about something completely different to the problem you're going through can actually help massively and make you remember how big the world is and how there's so much other things going on, and you can find happiness and excitement in other things in life. So yeah, sometimes over talking and talking about things isn't always the best thing to do, and you're just hurting yourself at the end of the day. I hope you can find some sort of comfort in this video, and maybe I'll do another one on this topic very soon, and I'll do a little follow-on and get into it in a bit more depth. But I'm going to keep this one here. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know your thoughts, and if you guys have experienced similar things, and how did you go about kind of changing your mindset to I'm just gonna do me within reason, as long as it's not hurting anyone, and stop listening to people that you don't even bloody know, or some people that you do actually know. People do this that are closest to you as well. But yeah, how did you kind of switch out of that mindset? What helped you? But anyway, I'm gonna love you guys and leave you. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.